Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Leadership Void podcast. Enrique here, my co-host Vince, and we're going to Vegas. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about this. Vince is going to introduce our guest, but it's going to be a great one.
It definitely will be. I'm excited as well, Enrique. We're honored and fortunate to have Monica Fullerton here. She's the founder and CEO of Spousely, again from Las Vegas, Nevada. So thank you. Welcome to be on the show, Monica. Let's just dive in. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, well, thank you both for having me today and welcome to Vegas. It's very hot still. We're still in the 100-degree weather, so hope you brought your swimsuits. But yes, I'm Monica Fullerton. I'm the founder and CEO of Spousely. I am a Air Force spouse. My husband is active duty. We've been pretty lucky to have some stability. We've been in Vegas now for a little over 6 years. So very, very grateful for that. And we have twins that just turned 5 years old.
Outstanding. And I tell you, when you get the opportunity to stay in one place for any amount of given time, you are grateful. And I know the feeling. So you managed to create this business. So let's talk a little bit specifically about Spousely and what you guys do.
Yeah, so I launched Spousely a little over a year ago, and it is an online marketplace to shop a wide variety of handmade products and services created by military and first responder families. So I like to call it Etsy meets Angie's List, but with a focus on shopping for social good and supporting our nation's heroes and their businesses. And yes, it's just been an incredible journey. We launched right before the pandemic, was not sure what to expect. It was just, a very crazy time. I was working my full-time corporate career. So for the first year of launching Spousely, I was working a demanding full-time job while also getting Spousely off the ground and running. I finally hit my breaking point a few months ago, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is amazing. If I could put all this time into growing Spousely, because we're just a growing community, then I'm going to do it. So I am all in as of a few months ago. And it's been an incredible ride. I feel like I haven't looked back. Obviously, I live by a quote that just came like true in my life is once comfort ends, growth begins. And that's kind of where I'm at on this journey.
Wow. Comfort ends, it begins. So bottom line, what I also heard is Etsy meets Angie's List is what Spousely is all about with social cause. So, congratulations for taking the dive and taking the leap and going full fledged. And for the twins' 5th birthday, that's amazing stuff there. So you said you started right prior to the pandemic. So how are you all holding up within coming into that new terrain as they speak?
Yeah, it's been interesting to see. Obviously, at the heat of everything when it was happening, people weren't really focused on, spending money and shopping and things like that. But it truly has been a blessing in disguise because now more than ever, people are wanting to shop small and make a big impact and truly spend those hard-earned dollars on, something with more of a purpose. So I always talk about purchasing with a purpose, and that's exactly what Spousely allows mission-driven consumers to do, as well as those who love supporting the military and first responder community.
That's amazing. And I love to have a platform that will concentrate on this demographic. It's one that produces a lot of great content in terms of products and services. So kudos to you guys for capitalizing on that one piece of our world, right? So we have the pandemic still going. Nothing's changed in that regard. Unfortunately, some things are looking familiar to last year, but what is on the horizon for Spousely? What's the plans for the future?
Yeah, so we've got big plans. Obviously, the more we can continue to grow Spousely, the more we can put funds in the pockets of our heroes. And so I am determined to make Spousely a household name, because the sooner we make it a household name, the sooner that we can continue doing good and giving back and just finding new ways to branch off of the marketplace. So we have a few different avenues that we're going to be diving into as we continue to grow. We're also raising our first round of funding right now. So up until this point, I've done everything out of pocket and as a solopreneur. And as you guys know, it's hard, right? There's only so much we can do. There's only so much we're capable of as one person. So I kind of hit that wall of, okay, I need help. We have a growing community. I see the need there. People are excited about Spousely. We've had a lot of great traction. How can we take Spousely to the next level? So we are currently raising our first round of funding on WeFunder, which is a crowdfunding platform. The reason I decided to go that route was to truly allow people to learn about Spousely, to see how amazing our community truly is. And I do always talk about, we are a people versus products marketplace, which sounds a little crazy because obviously we're a marketplace, right? We have products and we have services. But what truly separates us from our competitors is our people and their stories. We have vendors that started their businesses while their spouse was deployed. We have Gold Star families on our platform. We have veterans, we have first responders, and it's just truly about learning why they created their business and what this business is doing. That's so much more than just selling a product or service.
Definitely a platform that's needed, and I'm grateful, Monica, that you are the one leading the charge. And speaking of leading, let's talk about your professional development and leadership skills. So, for you, Monica, what professional development areas do you work on to improve your capabilities as a leader?
Yes, and that is something that's so important to me. It always has been. I feel like, being a leader is one of the most important things that we can do to help others. It allows us to truly get to know each other, whether it's in life or whether it's in business. And I do come from, like I said, a corporate background where I went to college. My bachelor's degree is in multimedia journalism and communications, and then my master's is in business, specializing in marketing. But living the military life, after I finished up my master's, I pivoted because it was hard to find a career that could move around with our lifestyle. So for the past decade, I was in logistics, and in logistics, I continued to have different roles in leadership positions. And what I have learned that is so important is that you have to understand your people. If you get to know your people on a more personal level, it allows more great work to be done. And unfortunately, sometimes leaders don't focus on that. It's all about, okay, what's next? Did you get this done? Can you do this for me? Or, it turns into not a true leadership role. And for me, the greatest thing that I've learned on this journey is understand your people, talk to them, figure out what they need. And especially with Spousely, we hold monthly vendor meetings because these vendors, we're building this platform together. So I want to know what they've enjoyed, where we can improve, and just make it a part of something that we're doing together.
Outstanding. I love the focus on the people centric strategy, because leaders often miss that. And so good on you to identify that from previous uh, examples and try to bring that into and execute that in Spousely. I believe that it's going to take you a very long way. Now, there's a lot of people that are listening, trying to figure things out from the ground level, emerging leaders that are looking forward to being this type of great leader in the future. So what advice can you give them as an emerging leader that maybe you got as you was growing into your position that you would like to share with them?
Yeah, I think the best advice is always, remember what you felt when you weren't a leader, or when the tables were turned, because, we've all been there. It takes time. You don't just automatically fall into a leadership role. I think it's something that you work your way up to and you build upon it based off of all of the experiences that you had along the way. And for me, the hustle and the juggle is so real, especially being a spouse and being a twin mom and, working full time. I've always worked full time, and just really taking those pain points and remembering what it was like. And once you emerge into a leadership position, trying to help fix those. So I'm very big on, I love supporting working moms and finding ways to get more moms into the workforce, because I think it's so powerful. But for that, it also means we have to be flexible, because most of the time they're the ones that are running the household. And especially for spouses, they're the one that's managing everything when their spouse is deployed. So just really knowing what it was like, as you've went along your way, and finding those little nuggets of how you can take how you felt and find ways to improve it.
Right, and force multiply it actually, because now you have you're at a bigger spot in the trajectory in this as a CEO of the company. So definitely worthwhile repeating, and great advice. But you also talk about pain points and challenges, which drives into how do you, Monica, handle challenges you currently face or facing?
That is a great question. And I love that question right now, because I am very much in the thick of it, especially because we are raising capital. And you would be surprised, just how many barriers there actually are in place, that are up from, women-owned businesses and trying to raise capital as a solopreneur and all of these different things. So trust me, I'm going through a lot of challenges right now. But how I see a challenge is I think of it as, don't tempt me with a good time. Like, okay, let's figure out how I can take this challenge and turn it into something positive. And I think that that's so important. I actually just shared a quote the other day from Barbara from Shark Tank, and it talked about, the greatest power that we can have is taking a no and being able to turn it into a yes, and finding ways that we can just take that challenge and make it into so much more. So I always say, I love a good challenge. It fuels my fire.
I love that. Don't tempt me with a good time. That's perfect way of looking at challenges, because on the other side of a challenge, and you really think about it, it's coming against you, because it's actually trying to keep you from something great. Now, you have to understand also that there may be a way of keeping you from something that's bad. So you have to make that decision right when it comes. And so there's going to be a change either way. So however you look at it, change is coming. And so what strategies do you build around times of change? And you can maybe advise somebody that's going through change at this moment.
Yeah, I think we have to embrace change. Obviously, change happens for a reason. It's one of those things where we have to figure out how we can pivot, how we can go around it, but continue to come out stronger in the end. Especially, I always talk about this, but especially with the military life, it's both rewarding and challenging. We go through a ton of change. We never know what's coming. Especially as a spouse, you're kind of just along for the ride, and you have to adapt and you have to find ways to embrace change. So I think, just really knowing that when change has to happen, how you can, like I said, turn it into something that's positive, or find ways to work around it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard some great nuggets from Monica here today. We could go on a whole hour, but we want to give opportunities for folks to know how to reach you, or spousely, if they want to know where to go to either purchase or be part of this wonderful family you have. So how do they contact you, Monica, or spousely?
Yeah, so you can head on over to our website. It's spouse-ly.com, or you can just type in spousely in Google to make it easy. But I love being a part of the journey, whether it's, a new vendor or a new customer. That to me is my favorite part of this ride, to be honest, is getting to know each other. And so anyone can shop on Spousely. And if you're interested in becoming a vendor, there's just a very simple, easy process. And we partnered with GovX. So GovX handles all of our verification for us to make sure that all of the vendors coming on board are approved in the military and first responder community. So follow us on social media. We're pretty heavy on Instagram, which is a great spot for us because we share a lot of our vendor stories. We share a ton of behind the scenes of them making and creating, which is always fun. And then Facebook, LinkedIn, we're everywhere. So just find us and start supporting our journey because it means the world to us.
Well, folks, you see, we have a great opportunity to get great content, great products from great military centric, or we call first responder, family, and community. So this is your opportunity not only to support those that are providing that, but also to support a community that at this point in time, and most of you know the stuff that's going on, our heart goes out to all the families and all those affected, which includes us for the moment. But Spousely is the place to go. We're going to have that information as part of the video show notes so that you can get that and be able to communicate with Monica. Monica, thank you so much for sharing your great platform, your initiative, and your goals here for the future. If you want to get a hold of us, folks, the leadership void at gmail.com is where you will send your emails, your messages, your requests. If you want a specific speaker or guest, let us know. If you have a topic for us to cover in relations to leadership, just want to make sure, hey, send that to us as well, and we'll curate it and put it in the queue.
Exactly. And as Enrique mentioned, Monica, thank you for being here today, taking time out of your busy schedule to showcase and share the wonderful things your 1-year anniversary of Spousely has developed into. And we're looking forward to the 10th year anniversary to come back with you. But for everybody else, we're trying to reach our 200 subscriber on our YouTube channel, The Leadership Void. Just click subscribe, and guess what? You're going to enter in a drawing to win a book by Scott McGregor, Standing Your O, the Salute Edition, basically lessons on gratitude. His autograph book is there for you. You could be that lucky winner. And we do one other thing. We do check-ins. We do buddy checks called Radio Check the 1st and the 15th of every month. It's more important now than ever to do a check-in, not only veteran community, the spouse community, also the first responder community. Come on to our LinkedIn Live at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 1900 hours. We'll be there for you. Just no agenda. Just we want to see your lovely face or hear your voice by chat. And lastly, next week, we go back to another veteran talking about what they're doing in the community. So this is just chock full of great spouses and great vets. And soon we'll have first responders. So thank you today for Monica being on the show. We hope you enjoyed because we did, and our audience will too.
Thank you so much for having me.